Hey guys, my name is Shireen Garcia. Welcome to the Young Talk podcast, where we're talking about Christ and culture. Today, we're going to be talking about some really deep stuff. We're going to be talking about God's will and recognizing God's will in our life. Today, I have three amazing guests. If you guys want to introduce yourselves.
My name is Brandon.
My name is Paris.
And I'm Micah.
Yep, and we are just ready to go. We're ready to have some conversations. So the first conversation I want us to have, it's going to be a little deep. So first episode, why not get deep?
Yeah.
Why not?
Let's do it.
Ready.
So the $1 million question, what is God's will for my life? You ask yourself that as a young adult, as a teenager. It's a hard question. So let's just open up the conversation about, let's start with opportunities. I love the idea of talking about opportunities and the things that come up in life. Tell me about some opportunities that you may get with, whether it be education or church, work, family opportunities, whatever. Tell me how you guys navigate accepting or declining opportunities in your life and seeing how opportunities line up with God's will in your life. Very deep, I told you guys.
That's a good one.
Well, I would say, I'm just going to give my perspective of what I've done or what I've experienced. In past times, there were times, even my current job, there was times where I was wondering that, hey, is this the right route for me? You know, I went to school, I did the work per se, and I did the practical side of it. Now I want to see where this is going to lead in the future. So my thing is, what I did was I honestly just sought God, and I asked him, hey, I need confirmation, not just praying, God, let your will be done, but also, God, let your will be done, but let confirmation come with it. And by confirmation, what I look for is peace. I believe when God leading God, his people, place them in positions that he wants them to be, there's a sense of peace about it, because we know that, ultimately we didn't place ourselves there. We don't have the power to, not to be dreary or anything, but we can't do anything.
Yeah.
Everything that we do is because of him and his grace and his mercy. So I feel like with his grace and his mercy, with the blessings that he gives, he gives peace. Yeah. So I looked for that in my career choice. I looked for that when I decided to go to school and my major, since we're talking about school, major and everything of that nature. And I look for his peace. And then also I look for the confirmations. And just one example, I was talking to a friend and I didn't even know he knew anything about the environmental field, but he was like, oh man, you're looking for X, Y, and Z? I heard about this internship and they need people. And I'm like, man, this is timely. It was right before I graduated high school, high school, right before I was about to graduate college. So everything literally aligned itself. And then of course that piece came with it. So that's kind of my perspective on that.
Yeah,
for sure.
Micah, with your opportunities, with you graduating however many years ago, you had that option of, you could have gone out of state, you could have gone wherever to pursue your education. What was in the back of your head thinking, okay, I have this opportunity to grow and learn, but you decided to stay, where your family was. You decided to stay where your local church was. What was going through your head during that time of making that decision, during that season of many opportunities?
Yeah, that's a good question. So honestly, I only really applied to 2 colleges. And the first college, so I guess I'll put it like this. It was a way where it was it could have gone 2 ways, And then, so the first college I applied to was Texas A&M. And it's kind of weird, but God changed my career path. But I applied to A&M and University of Houston. And I really thought I wanted to go to A&M. And because it was I guess it was just more of what I heard growing up, oh, A&M's a good school. If you come out of there with a degree, you're going to get a real good job. So I was okay, I'm going to A&M. That was just, my mind was set on it. So I applied, and it was in a hard program in like a engineering or like architectural engineering, which I thought I wanted to do in that field of like architecture. So I didn't get accepted into that one, and they told me that I could have gone to another college underneath, like Blinn College, and then do a year or two there, and then transfer into A&M. But I got accepted into the architecture program at U of H, and like it was just how everything played out. It was kind of like I definitely knew it was in God's will, because after it was all said and done, I went through the process of finally getting into the architecture school, and after I was there, it was more like, how do I put it? It wasn't like in that moment, like before I got accepted into either college, I was kind of just seeking God, like, okay, like what is your will for me? You know, like it wasn't like he basically answered me after everything was all said and done. And I didn't get accepted into A&M, and I was like, man, like, I guess I'll just go here. Like, it was my backup plan, or so I thought. But later, I feel like God, like, revealed to me, like, that was his plan for me. And it all, like, just unfolded. Like, I went to a university, and it was close to home with my family, and most importantly, it was close to my local church. And everything he was just, like, instilling inside of me. And as I started, like, taking classes there over time, he would, it was just things in my head like, man, what if like I decided to go to A&M, or like I went that other route to go to that school and transfer, you know, like would I've got connected to a church, you know, where would my life be at now? And it was those questions that I would ask myself, and like also thank God for, you know, ordering my steps, because who knows, like honestly, I was in that transition of coming straight out of high school into college. And, you know, that's a big transition for a lot of people. Yeah. So in that mindset, like, it was just a lot of people. And that, I feel like that's where a lot of young adults, like, either make that decision of, like, okay, like, I'm going to serve God, or I'm going to, try the world and, you know, dabble in it and this and that, which is a real dangerous place. Yeah. So I feel like just all that stuff, how I ordered, like, man, if I would have went to this college, like, who knows how long it would have took me to get plugged in or actually serving into a church.
Exactly, yeah.
It's funny because I'm right now in this season of my life, I'm going through the exact same thing that you went through. And it's funny, God's is funny, but my whole life I had aimed to try to be top 10% of my class. And right now I am, but I had that goal because I was like, I'm going to, whenever I get to my senior year, I know that whatever college I want to go to, I'm going to be able to get in because I'm top 10%, right? So I spent all this time studying and doing all this stuff to make sure I did that. Well, now God has literally redirected everything that I had plans for, and I was like going to go off to UT. Like, that was my dream school, y'all. But now that like I'm in that phase where I'm applying to colleges, God was like, nope, you're meant to stay at your church. And I was like, oh God, like, come on, why? So after, you know, like just trusting and, you know, Romans says, it talks about how for those who love God, everything's going to work out for your good. So I was like, God, I know it's going to work out for my good. I know, you know, I wanted to go off to college, but, you know, I'm just going to start praying. Like, if I'm meant to stay here at church, open new doors for me. And sure enough, like over the past couple of months, like new doors have opened up for me as far as worship and getting involved with the media team at our church. And I'm like realizing like, there's so much that I can do here at my church to help, you know, grow and help myself grow. So I think it's funny, like I'm going through the same thing that you went through right now. So yeah, I just think the main thing is whenever you have an open opportunity, if it's positive and it's going to put you out of your comfort zone, go for it. Because I see it as like, God opened that door. You know, you may not be comfortable with it, but through prayer, you're going to know if it's right or not. Right.
Yeah, I feel like something you guys all touched on was an action word is seek, whether it be seeking the face of God, praying to God, you know, God, is this opportunity right for me? Or seeking counsel. I find that now, and maybe I could be wrong, like, let's talk about it, like maybe you guys disagree, but young adults, I feel like we're not as willing to seek counsel from pastors. Why do you think that is? My take on it, I have a few different things that kind of go through my head. Maybe we feel like we're burdening them. Like, oh, our pastors are so busy. I don't want to burden them with having conversation of which college I'm going to attend, or are we scared to have an honest conversation, or are we scared of correction? What do you guys think about seeking counsel from pastors? And
I would say that you said the word correction. I would think that because of that, or maybe just the idea of someone saying no, and you have this plan per se, and you just, man, this is what I'm spearheading it. I'm going all in, but you know that you need that counseling. You know, Proverbs talks a lot about seeking wisdom, and through our leadership, or seeking wisdom, and just in general. So it's like going to your pastor, or going to your leadership and telling them about this plan, but then they question you, which is correct to do. Have you, talk to God about it, or if they feel themselves like, that might not be the best route for you because of X, Y, and Z, just knowing that rejection is possible could keep you from going to your pastor, going to your leadership, going to
Having an
whomever.
open mind about, whatever advice they give you.
Exactly. So
sure.
you just gotta, I'm just gonna do my thing, and see how it works out. And if not, then it's on me, or, whatever.
Yeah, that's good. That's really good.
Yeah, maybe I feel like too that, to touch on what like Brandon said, some people, they might, and it just depends on like maybe where their relationship is at, like with God, and maybe their pastor. Maybe they think that, oh, I don't need to ask him. Like I already like know what I want to do. Like, or maybe the worldly influence of even deciding to make that decision of which college I'm gonna go to, because the world tells you, oh, if you go to this college, like they're like, oh, you're gonna make good money. You're gonna have like all these opportunities and all this and that. But if someone else tells you like, nah, I don't think that's a good idea, like your pastor or godly counsel, then you might feel kind of, I don't know, like weird about it. Maybe you're like just like hesitant, like, man, are they just saying that because they want me to stay here? Or are they just saying that because they want me to serve and stay in this area? Like, or is it actually, are they actually trying to keep me from something that's dangerous,
yeah,
So
yeah, that's really good. Kind of almost ending the conversation here, I want to talk about when you're in that season of life where maybe you feel like you're not doing enough in church, or you're not doing a specific role in church, or whatever that may be, where you're in that season of questioning, what am I meant to do? What has God gifted me with? Have you guys ever found yourself in that situation? And
Every
if
day.
so, yeah, and if you are, how do you guys kind of guide yourself? What do you guys do?
Okay. I think, okay, well, first of all, your relationship with God and your ministry and what you're supposed to do, your opportunities, it's always going to be progressive. So I think consistently staying in prayer and seeking out God's word, he will reveal things to you and open doors. So as far as like opportunities in your ministry, like I said, just God will open the doors, but you have to keep that prayer consistent. Yeah. And I think that's one thing that's been my constant, is just like, okay, God, I don't know what's going on, but like, Lord, you take it, Mm-hmm. So I think just really putting in the effort to let God work it out for you. That's a good way.
Yeah, that's really good. And I think that like sometimes when we question God's will for our life, we can look back and say, okay, well, what does the Bible say? The Bible says to take up your cross and follow him. Okay, well, if I know that's definitely God's will for my life, I'm going to do that daily. I'm going to go and make disciples. I'm going to go and serve others. I'm going to love like Christ. Like sometimes when we question God's will, we complicate it, when it's like, just relax.
Yeah, for
real. Yes.
Let's relax and pray and seek God and seek counsel. But yeah, that's awesome. That was really good, Paris. Do you guys have anything else to touch on that?
I would say overall is just, I guess I've been in that situation before, and maybe like either coming out of it or going through. But when you say like finding a place in the church, I think of like not just like the local church, but the church as a body. Because a lot of people struggle with, oh, if I don't have this certain role, or like if it's not on the pulpit or the platform, like then it's not ministry to them. You know, like for me, example, like I don't sing, I don't play instrument. I just, I'm just a faithful churchgoer. I try to get involved with youth and young adults, but I think it all goes back to serving. You know, so even if people don't feel or they have those certain callings to sing or play instrument or like be somewhere on the pulpit or have those type of roles, I feel like even like outside the building, church as a whole, like you can still do ministry and still serve people in a way. Like, so finding that place like of, you know, also going back to seeking God, but finding something that you're passionate about, whether that be like your job, like something you're passionate about that goes back to serving others. And I would say like you're doing ministry. Like if you're, for example, when I first started going to college, I wasn't really as involved maybe as like in a role and like in the youth and stuff, but I would still come faithfully. And my ministry for myself would be to invite people to church, to invite people to our thing, to our events and stuff like that. So to me, like I feel like I was doing ministry and like getting people to come to the church and like serving or doing Bible studies outside of church. I think that goes back to just being an overall servant.
Yeah, that's so good. I love what you said. I feel like if the only time we're serving is within the church, then we got it wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
it's so true.
Yeah, it's so true. And I love that, you know, you love fitness, and so you've made that your ministry to where you're going to come in contact with so many other people that I will never be able to reach, that Brandon and Paris and our viewers will never be able to reach, but because God's given you this gifting and this talent, you're going to be able to spread the gospel to so many people that we'll never come in contact with. And that's what's so amazing about following God's will, is he's going to open those opportunities. And, you know, that's amazing. Yeah, love that. Love that. Last question before we wrap this up. Do you guys have maybe not a mental checklist, but some questions that you ask yourself when an opportunity comes your way? What are some things that you'll slash out that opportunity? No, that's not for me. I know that's not going to line up with what I know God has for my life. Do you guys have some definite like, no? Or do you guys have some things where you're like, this opportunity sounds good because this lines up with this. I know that, you know, this could potentially help me grow in this way. Like what are your boxes that you guys have that you can check when an opportunity presents itself to you?
I would just kind of go very just basic and organic with this one question. If there's an opportunity and kind of like within, relationships. If you're dating someone and there's all these red flags are popping up, then what are you gonna do? You're gonna either acknowledge them, right? Or you're just gonna just go blindly.
Some people think it's a carnival.
Some people think it's something. Just wave during the party. No, you might want to put that red flag somewhere else.
And that could be a whole other episode on itself.
Oh yeah.
Red flags.
Red flags.
Red flags. Episodes. Red flag. Okay. No, but there's gonna be things that you see, and it's just if you got that. My mom always told me, I don't want to misquote it, but she was like, listen to your first mind, like as if you have like 2 or 3 of them. But she's like, listen to your first mind, listen to that unction. I believe God's people have something so special that it's a pulling, just like, how you call it? Conviction. It's something that allows you to just have a quick, if it's corrects you from being impulsive. It corrects you from being potentially wreck yourself. I believe that being vigilant of the things that God may put before you, as far as what's a positive, what's a negative, and I'm weighing and praying and asking counsel, seeking counsel. All these things are just a compilation of the way you can pretty much. Back to my first answer. Well, the first question was gaining peace. I just love that whole idea of gaining peace. If it's peace within your answer or within the opportunity, then I feel like he's a lamp unto in Proverbs it speaks about him being a lamp unto our feet and a light unto our path. So I feel like everything is going to be like illuminated. You're going to be able to see the things that he wants you to see within opportunities and things of that nature.
As far as a checklist, I think it honestly just goes as simple as this. Is it bringing positivity or negativity? And that goes with all things. I mean, if you think about it, like it could go with someone asking you like, hey, yo, like your friends are like, hey, let's go out to this party this weekend. And you're like, okay, well, Paris, is this going to further my spirituality with God or is it going to dwindle it? Is it positive for my spirit? Is it negative? So I think it's just as simple as that with any opportunity, with any, position or whatever it may be. It's just thinking, okay, is this going to be a positive outcome or negative? And I know that's so hard to, it's like, oh, you don't know. But I mean, I think at the end of the day, is that going to I know my own convictions. I know where my own heart lies. Is that going to hurt me or help me? So
That's really good.
Yeah. I like what Brandon said about the peace thing too. Like the word says that God is not a God of confusion. Right. Like he brings peace in those situations. So I would say that that if that opportunity or situation, does it bring peace or does it bring confusion? Like, are you trying to go back and forth like, man, I don't know what to do? Or if the opportunity feels like forced or rushed, like you have to, like, it's not a time, like you have to make the decision, like, and it all goes back to like, man, like, what is this opportunity gonna lead me closer to God or is it gonna set me back? Am I just taking this opportunity because it looks good? Because personally, I don't think every opportunity is a good opportunity. Like there might be opportunities that you take and it just might ruin a lot of situations, So going off of what Brandon said about the whole peace thing, is it going to lead me closer to God or is it, going to lead me farther back?
Yeah, I feel like we've all been in that situation where you do feel that sense of peace where sometimes we're not going to get an audible voice from God where he's going to say, do this, and that would be nice. But it doesn't work like that sometimes. So we've got to listen to that peace that God places in us. And this was an amazing conversation. Thank you guys for joining us in this conversation. We're so excited that we have the opportunity to do this. Subscribe, all the things. Give us a rating. Put something in the comments. Do whatever you got to do. Tell us if you enjoyed this or not. We will see you next time.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please like, comment, subscribe. Hit that bell notification so you'll be able to be up to date whenever we post another video. Thank you so much.